Welcome back to the podcast. Today, don't let a good today be ruined by a bad yesterday.
Boom.
Or is it, don't let a bad today ruin a good yesterday?
Boom.
Or did I just say the same thing
I
twice?
have no idea what you're talking
I
about.
have no idea either.
You brought the topic in today.
But
so
we're
it's
going.
a mystery to me.
We're going somewhere with this.
On Just These Guys, you know.
So
tell us, oh Grandpapa, what are we going to learn today?
So I had a very clear and big opportunity to put into practice the whole mind over matter.
Okay.
The whole idea that you control not only what you think, but what you experience while you control what you think. And I'll explain. So, if you are someone who has never been to Colorado.
Okay.
Have you been to Colorado?
It's been eons.
Colorado, one of the most beautiful states that we have, especially when it is 75 degrees. The weather is perfect. You're hanging out with good people, fun people, the people that you want to hang out with. Everything is just going as well as you would hope it would go. So we took a long weekend. We went with 4 other couples out to Colorado, and we were in an area called Dillon, Lake Dillon. It's a lake up in the mountains. It's just gorgeous. But we went up there, and we took 4 off-road vehicles.
Uh-oh.
And drove them all the way to, well, we drove 3 of them all the way to Colorado. And so that's about a 8-hour drive. And we take these vehicles out there. We're staying in a couple of different condos. We go off-roading, everything. That trip was awesome. Whoa. It was such a good time. And so we get done, and the final day that we're there, we get up bright and early because we want to get on the road. We all kind of like to not get back too late, so you feel like you just barely got home. You crawled into bed, and now it's work week again.
Sure.
So we get up early, and we hit the road, and we get about 3 or 4 miles into our trip, and we're on I-70, which is headed towards Denver, and there's a parking lot right in front of us.
Oh, okay.
On the highway.
So now I'm with you. So you're on the other side of Denver.
Yes.
And you come into a major traffic jam on one of the largest interstates in America.
We're on the other side of a tunnel. So there's Denver, then there's a tunnel, then there's us.
Right.
And so now we're sitting, like I said, in a parking lot on the highway. And we sit there. Well, first I had seen a sign. I saw a sign earlier that said, Eisenhower Tunnel closed. And that was my first clue. I said to the guy driving, I said, "Did you see that?" No. I said, "Well, it says that the Eisenhower Tunnel," because this was back before we saw the stopped, traffic.
Sure.
Eisenhower Tunnel closed.
Lord, give me a sign.
Yeah.
Eisenhower Tunnel closed. I didn't see that.
Is it the Eisenhower we're going through? And, yeah. And so we come pulling up. Well, it turns out there was a wreck. And it says, the first thing that I had read was that it was in the tunnel. The wreck was in the tunnel, but it wasn't. Apparently, it was on the other side of the tunnel because 2 cars had gone down into an embankment.
Oh.
There were injuries, so we pray for those folks. Hope that everything turns out okay. But so now we're sitting in traffic for like, I don't even know, 45 minutes. I'd say 45 minutes.
Right.
And so now they finally get going, and they're veering us off just to the side of the tunnel. And I'm thinking, well, where is this? Why don't they use this more often? Then there has to be somewhere that the trucks I don't think they let trucks with hazardous materials go through these tunnels.
Sure.
And so I said, okay, well, finally they made a decision. All they did was they routed us up right over the top of the entrance of the tunnel and headed back to Dillon, headed back the other way. So now we're at least an hour, I'd say, into the trip, and we're headed back to where we were. And so now we're in a line that is headed to the exit to Dillon. And so we finally wisened up a little bit. We got out of that line.
Sure.
Because we were there for probably 20 minutes.
Sure.
Maybe 15, I don't want to exaggerate, but and then we go further away to Frisco. So we take that exit, we stop, we kind of gather our thoughts, we try to figure out a different direction. So we take off and we head off towards Colorado Springs. And so now we're still not headed towards home. Keep that in mind. And so we've had now 2 delays, 2 different times where we're sitting, trying to get further up, heading towards home and heading away back towards Dillon. That's 2. Now we're heading off towards Colorado Springs, and all of a sudden they're rerouting us again. So now we're being rerouted off of, I don't even know what highway it was. I have no clue. And now we're on a dirt road. So we're sitting now we're not driving on a dirt road, we're sitting on a dirt road, and there's a crowd of people hanging out outside of their cars.
Sure.
Up about, 20, 30 yards ahead. I mean, this had just timed out to where we were being rerouted, and we could not figure out what was going on. It felt like we were in the Twilight Zone. But keep in mind, this whole entire time, we're almost just kind of laughing about this. It's kind of like, man, can you believe this? This is taking some time. And then all of a sudden we're sitting still again, trying to figure this out. And all of a sudden, over this hill comes a burro race. People were running beside a burro. There's a bunch of them on a leash. It is the Great Burro Race of Fairplay, Colorado. This is their annual burro race, kind of town celebration. I didn't even see a town. And they're racing these burros, and I mean, they go right in front of us, right in front of our car. We sat there, I don't even know, maybe another 45 minutes or so. And they're racing these dang burros. It's to pay homage to the mining that took place around there back in the day, where they would use burros.
That's really important.
Yeah, and so this just happens that we were in the right spot at the wrong time. And so here we go. These burros are all running in front of us. They get through. We get back on the road. So now we're back on the road, but everything's good, We're not having any, health issues. Trying to find the good. We get to Manitou Springs. Manitou Springs leads into Old Colorado City. Old Colorado City takes you into Colorado Springs. Colorado Springs is a city that is growing like crazy, but they don't have any kind of a road system that you can't get north and south without having to go through the middle of town.
Really?
Yeah, it's nuts. And even if you do, there's a stoplight every mile, and you're supposed to be on a highway. It's just crazy.
Right.
So we go through Colorado Springs, and we finally get through Colorado Springs. Now we're headed back towards a town called Lyman, which now it tells us we're heading back home. But here's the deal. We have literally driven 5 hours, or at least been in the vehicles 5 hours, and we were no closer to home. 5 hours, and we were not 1 mile closer to our destination. And that's not big. Most stories like this are like, because our car broke down, or because somebody got sick, or it had nothing to do with that. There was so many good things, though, that were going on. Our cars weren't breaking down. These were Jeeps. These were off-road Jeeps that had 36-inch tires on them. We had to stop it seemed like 20 miles to get gas. It was crazy. But the whole entire time, I kept thinking to myself, you know what? It's a good day. And it's amazing the difference that makes. The whole entire time. So imagine the opportunities that we have moving forward, because life is going to happen.
Right.
Things are going to happen. And the whole entire time. And I'm so thankful that the 6 of us who were on this little journey together, everybody had a great attitude about it. You know, imagine if you're trying to do something like this and you're in a vehicle for 14 and a half hours with a jerk.
Right.
Or someone who just can't control, they can't find the good.
They're cranky and griping.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just want to say thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Dawn, and thank you, Kelly, and thank you, Randy, and thank you, Misty, for being good people with great control over you were able to see the good. And I appreciate that greatly.
And that is a perfect story to illustrate that how your day goes depends on your mindset and your attitude.
Absolutely. And it makes we kept saying, it's going to make a much better story. So it could have just been an 8-hour drive.
Right.
Just a normal 8-hour drive.
Boring, straight through, listening to music.
But we got to go see a lot more mountains.
Sure.
We got to see how many people have witnessed up close a burro race.
How many people can say they've done that? That was not something you would have ever thought to go do. Now you can say you've done it.
I put it on my bucket list because I didn't realize I needed it on there.
Put it on so I can check it off.
And checked it off, yep.
And going through Colorado Springs?
Yep.
Did you see the academy?
Did not, because that was clear up on the north end. We weren't there. Yeah. But just a long, really long, good day. And I'm so thankful for it.
It's a good day to have a good day.
It is a good day to have a good day. But it just goes to show you we are in control of, in spite of everything else, we're in control of how our day does go in our mind. And it's just right there for us.
And you said good.
Yep.
And I know what you're referencing there with the whole Jocko thing.
Good.
Any second, any moment is an opportunity to apply the 4 fundamentals. And when Jocko's saying good, you know, something bad happens and he says good,
Yeah.
he's not declaring that thing to be good.
Right.
So here we are, the tunnel shut down. Good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Woohoo. Yeah.
By saying good, it is an ironic declaration. And irony means that it's the opposite. So if you call me an idiot and I say, thank you, I'm being ironic because I don't believe what you said. So when I declare something to be good that is considered bad by most standards, I'm being ironic. And the irony allows me to separate from the situation. I don't control the traffic. I don't control the wreck. I don't control the rerouting. So, hey, look, there's a wreck in the tunnel. We're going to be rerouted back to where we started. Good.
Yeah.
Is a separation from it.
Yep.
Getting it out of my mind, moving on. Good. I don't control all of that. Brings me back to the present moment. Next choice. My next choice. That's the part that's up to me. That's the part that declares how this next 30 minutes, the next hour is going to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was, like I said, it was a really long, good day.
Hey, good. We get to see more Colorado. Good. We get to see a burro race.
Well, and on a much smaller scale or example, earlier that week, one of the guys, and I also want to give a shout out to Heather and Jason and Mark and Janita. They were also the folks who, they were on their own trips, but Jason and Heather, they got caught up in being rerouted. I think it was for a completely different wreck. There was just a lot going on that day. There was a lot of issues with traffic, but man, we took it in stride. They actually stayed the night in Manitou Springs. They were like, okay, well, we're just going to stay. So
hey,
it's like they made the best of it.
Let's check out the nightlife of Manitou.
Yeah, heck yeah. But earlier in that week, Randy and I had run to the store. It was a Target. And every time I'll tell you, every time I go to the store and I'm in there, if I don't check my phone before I leave, I will miss 2 or 3 texts from Dawn. Hey, would you grab this? Would you grab that? And I just tell you right now, I never check my phone until I'm in the car. I cannot get into the habit, no matter how many times. And so, same thing.
Sure.
And she's actually calling me. Hey, are you getting my texts? And of course, no, I'm not. And so we needed to go back in.
Sure.
Well, he says, let's park down by grocery. And so we get in his truck and we go driving down, clear down to the other end of the building. We're chatting it up and we're walking in and there's no door. They have removed the doors from this end of the building. And so we walked all the way back. And it was a big building too. We walked all the way back down. So that's just a little example. But I'll never forget what he said, because I've thought this myself, and I really don't know how many people actually think this way. But he said, I always think of even little things like this, where God just kept me from being in the middle of something, like being in a wreck. The ripple effect of life is so amazing, and he uses that, and it's a great attitude. It's really the perfect approach,
and it's another way of acceptance of what you don't control versus what you do control. Jocko says good.
Yep.
He's saying, well, apparently God didn't want me to go in this part of the building.
There you go. Yeah.
That's it. I mean, we're done.
Yeah.
So now what? Do we turn left and go to the other door? Do we stand here until they build a new door?
Yeah. Do we go in and complain
right.
that they took the door out?
I stood down there for 3 hours. There's no door.
Yeah. We were looking. We had to walk 50 yards.
Figuring out some way. The fundamental number one is the key to opening the mind to the other fundamentals. But, I don't control the past, the future, what others think, do, or feel. I do control this moment in time, what I'm thinking, doing, and what I'm feeling, and figuring out a way to separate those two as quickly as possible. Jocko says, good. Your friend says, well, God's protecting me from something.
Yep.
And that moment that you declare whatever that is for you, that statement that I don't control the fact there's no door here, boom. Now what am I going to do? It turns the control back over to me.
Yeah.
And so, and as you're driving, what were you saying? You said you kept saying something.
I just kept saying, don't let a bad today ruin a good yesterday. And don't let a bad yesterday ruin a good today.
And reminding yourself that today is going to be determined by today.
Yeah.
And don't let a bad yesterday ruin a good today. I could sit here today complaining about yesterday and in the process ruin today. Mm-hmm. Or, so it's living in the present moment. You hear people talk about that a lot, be present.
Yeah.
And that's what you found power in this weekend.
Absolutely. That's the biggest lesson of 2023, 24 is this whole idea of your perspective is either your power or your prison. And every single day, that is the truth. Every moment of every day, that is the truth. And so if you continue to, you may be in prison-like circumstances, but even Paul, I think about Paul, where he was writing the book of Philippians from prison. Mm-hmm. And the theme of the book is joy. And he's saying, I have learned to be content in all situations.
Sure.
And because of that, I find strength in Christ. That's the context of what he's saying when he says that through Christ I can do all things. Mm-hmm. Listen, if I focus on the strength that is within me, my perspective is not prison.
Yeah.
It is power.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Boom.
Bada bing. By the way, you look really good in your swag.
Woo.
I like the shirt.
Isn't that nice?
I obviously like the hat because I'm wearing one.
Boom. Seafoam green. And
Seafoam green.
because I will be kicking off my exercise routine again pretty soon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's sharp. Adidas. Yeah,
This is high quality stuff.
it is.
You know,
Yeah, the materials that he uses and everything, very, very good stuff.
these will last years.
Yeah.
You get a
Oh,
one.
there's no doubt.
Yeah. The T-shirt is not going to fall apart in your
Nope.
washer and dryer and
Yep.
be a dish rag, 6 months from now.
Yep.
These are high quality,
Mm.
soft cotton.
Yeah. And where do you get him?
You get them from Gino at Wichita Screen Printing in Wichita, Kansas. You can go to our website. You can go to our Facebook page. You can go to the description and the link, or in the bottom of this episode, there'll be a link. And click on it and go. There's hundreds of options that he's got available.
Mm-hmm.
I was in there yesterday to pick this stuff up, and he's got. Did you meet the dog?
I did not.
The big, kind of tannish. What do they call that? Marbly color.
Mm-hmm.
Brindle. Pit bull. Just short, big, fat head, and it is sweeter.
Yeah.
Sweeter than a kitty.
That's how they usually are.
She just come up and you could barely see her little tail wagging, and she's just hang her head and you'd scratch her, and she's just so sweet and lovable. It just wouldn't hurt a fly.
Wow.
I was like, I'm going to take her.
Yeah.
Hey, look over there.
Yep.
Take the dog. It was a wonderful, wonderful dog.
That dog would fit in very well here. So I'm continually blown away and thankful and everything else for the people who are continuing to come and hang out with us, and where it's growing,
Sure.
all these different countries,
Right.
all these different states.
I was looking earlier, the show on the YouTube will open up with a little map of where we've lit up this last month, and I've just been surprised that England, Northern Ireland, the Netherlands, Australia, New Zealand. We're lighting it up across the board. It's flattering. It's humbling to think that somebody somewhere else would actually be interested enough to
Very much so.
listen to this and tune in a second, a third, a fourth time.
Yep. And a lot of local folks.
Oh yeah.
Get somebody just out of the blue that I would never even imagine would be listening, and they'll come up and they'll say something about an episode, and I'm like, yeah, pretty cool, good stuff.
All right.
And just remember, it's a good day to have a good day.
thanks
Yes,
for
indeed.
sharing your weekend with us. We can learn from that.
Your perspective
Is-
today, right now, in this moment, right now, is your prison or your power.
Boom.
Go get that power.
See you guys next week.
Have an awesome week.